Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Let's start this thing out because Kava Network, one of my sponsors at Kava_platform, look in the top of the description, give them a follow. 48 hours away from Kava 10 being live, 20 plus protocols deployed and ready to go, full set of Ethereum support infrastructure ready, Ethereum code chain tested, safe and secure with 940,000 plus blocks. The Kava 10 upgrade. Check them out. These guys are doing a lot. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with crypto other than the fact that Charles Hoskinson tweeted this out. Apparently, when you own a ranch like he does, I think he's in Colorado, apparently they've got a lot of rattlesnakes. That creeped me out when I looked at this, and so I just wanted to show it to you. Snakes bother me. Now, folks, they're having the World Economic Forum thing over in Davos. Brad Garlinghouse, here's the clip. You got to hear this.
Good. Well, I have a couple of reactions. One is, in some ways, she's in good company. There's others like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger who've made derogatory comments. But not that long ago, Jamie Dimon, someone who said they thought Bitcoin was, I think, a fraud, and has subsequently come around and realized that, in my judgment, this is an industry that is not going away. It's valued today at about $1.3 trillion. But I do think, I've spoken to Christine Lagarde personally, and I think we need to stop measuring it just by what's going on with the overall value and how are these assets being used to solve real world problems. And I think time and time again, we're seeing more and more real use cases solving real scaled problems where blockchain technologies can reduce friction measured by cost and speed in a way that I think improves the overall economy.
Does the fact that these 19,000 cryptocurrencies have been largely used as speculative assets do damage to the underlying case that you're arguing for?
I think absolutely yes. And it's frustrating. I said when there were about 2,000, so as you said correctly, there's about 19,000 today. When there were about 2,000, I got some heat from the crypto market by saying that something like 99% of them I thought would go to zero. And that wasn't a popular statement, suggesting that only 20 would be around. Well, now you have 19,000. My prediction, at least for now, has been moved the wrong direction. But, there are some tokens out there that I think are focused on solving a problem. And those are ones that I can see being used in the future. And we could give a number of different examples. Some of them are present here in Davos. But there's also ones that I look at, I hear the description, and I don't get it. And I think that there is risk, as Christine Lagarde commented. They are speculative, they are risky, but that doesn't mean there isn't real opportunity.
Right, I find this conversation refreshing. We've spoken to so many crypto experts out there who know nothing about this and who just want the gamification of it. They just want to encourage people into various Ponzi schemes. I hear what you're saying. We're great fans of what blockchain technology can do, but just to categorically say, you think most of these products are just going to disappear and investors are going to lose their money over the coming years?
I think there's a high risk that, well, certainly when you say most, meaning more than 50%, I think there's a high risk that most of this fails.
How many fiat currencies in the world are there? About 180?
Yeah. Look, there is clearly examples where these can be used. What Ripple is doing with our digital asset that we use in our technology stack called XRP is solving a cross-border payments problem. And that cross-border payments problem we all have experienced. When you're moving money cross borders, it is slow and it is typically expensive. There's no reason we can't use these technologies to solve that problem.
I hear you. And do you know what? I think more regulation, better, then we can all know what we're trading with. Why don't you want more regulation on XRP? Why are you in a big fight with SEC's Gary Gensler that's just going on and on?
What is going on? That's frustrating. Gary Gensler was quoted as saying that justice delayed is justice denied, yet at every turn the SEC has been slowing this one down. Look, we were the ones advocating for years that we needed regulatory clarity in the United States. And then for the SEC to say, hey, even though it's not clear, we're going to bring a civil lawsuit saying that XRP is a security, we find to be a bit ironic. I'm actually advocating for regulatory clarity. I've been
not for XRP to be a security.
I think most crypto assets are not securities, and I think they are clearly commodities, and they are regulated. I mean, when people say, as Gary Gensler has said, this is the Wild West, that is not true. We're a regulated company by many different regulatory bodies today, and outside the United States, you have the regulatory clarity.
Folks, the most the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world have converged on Davos with all of their private planes, folks. Pay attention, because when you look at these digital assets, who's over there? Look who's over there. Well, we know what. I'm going to show you another clip from another Ripple executive in a minute. They're over there. Look who else is over there. I keep telling you, XRP, XLM, XRP, XLM. This is from Stellar, their whole team. There's their CEO. They've just shown up in Davos. Look at this. Stellar Development Foundation, right above them, State Street. Who's State Street? State Street is one of the top 3 largest custodians, traditional financial custodians. You know, you buy a stock, that stock certificate is held in custody by a company like State Street. What is State Street? Remember this old video? This is the head of digital assets for State Street. Remember when he said this?
Talking about intellectual properties, paintings, other things like CryptoKitties, right? People have heard of CryptoKitties. So we're seeing assets start to become digitized, trickle, and then we believe there'll be a flood. When that happens, I would look at a historic precedent. If you think about 30 years ago when assets moved from materialization to dematerialization, where we moved from coupon clipping to stock certificates to electronification. We believe the same thing will happen with digital assets.
Now, you kids out there that are listening to me, there are certain places in life that everybody doesn't get invited to. They don't get to go to that club. Augusta National would be one of them. Another one is Davos. So ask yourself this question. Do you see any company working on any use case for Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or any of that malarkey? Do you see any of that at Davos? All you're hearing about right now is regulations. Why do you think these people, why do you think Stellar's there? Why do you think Ripple's there? They're hanging with the most powerful people. Brad Garlinghouse said, yeah, I spoke to Christine Lagarde. When's the last time you spoke to Christine Lagarde? I haven't. There's a much bigger thing going on here, so I hope you all realize it. Chinu Patel sent me this. I thought this was a very interesting clip from that came from Davos as well. Listen to what this guy says.
By the way, I don't know if we can get the camera's not going to see it. The blockchain house is here.
Right.
Every crypto person is in town here in Davos.
Right.
And we've watched it obviously tank. It's not clearly a hedge on inflation, at least thus far.
Right.
But do you see that as the tail? Do you see that as the dog? What's going on there?
I think it's more of a symptom. It's telling you, it's like the canary in the coal mine, right? We're seeing crypto collapse the way it is. I think it's got more downside to it.
More downside.
More down.
How much more?
Well, when I look at Bitcoin, which the technicals have been better than anything else, when we break, below 30,000 consistently, 8,000 is the ultimate bottom. So I think we've got a lot more room to the downside especially with the Fed being restrictive. And let's face it, most of these currencies they're not currencies, right? They're junk, right? I mean, the majority of crypto is garbage. So there are going to be survivors, but, and crypto is the future.
There's hundreds of cryptocurrencies.
19,000.
But do you think that Bitcoin is junk? Do you think that ETH is junk? Do you think Solana is junk? How do you...
I think Ethereum, I think Bitcoin will be survivors.
And survivors at one day at 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 in the sort of Kathy Woods world, or something else?
Yeah, it could be, but I don't think we've seen the dominant player in crypto yet.
Oh yes, we have.
Right, this is like the internet bubble, right? If we were sitting here in the internet bubble,
You think that guy doesn't know about XRP and XLM? You think there's not a reason why they never ever say those two?
Talking about how Yahoo and America Online were the great winners, and everything else. We couldn't tell you if Amazon or Pets.com was going to be the winner, right? But of course Yahoo. I mean Google. We didn't have Google yet.
Right.
America Online, the dial-up service died. So we don't know these. I don't think we have had the right prototype yet for crypto. And let me tell you what that's based on.
Right. The right prototype. Maybe he was listening to my video the other day when I was talking about how Bitcoin and Ethereum were prototypes. Those are the prototypes. They're a mess technologically, and everybody knows it. But guess what is not prototypes? XRP and XLM.
The definition of currency is that it's a store of value, it's a medium of exchange, and it's a unit of account. None of these things pass. They don't even pass on one basis.
But if they don't pass now, why would they pass later?
Because technology will come along, and there will be a point where if you can create an ecosystem, then where we can actually use these things for transactional purposes and people feel comfortable, they hold their value.
Right.
Stable coin's an interesting attempt at that, but candidly, if we're going to exchange it at a set exchange rate like a currency board like the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, right, then it's going to get regulated. Like,
you're darn right it's going to get regulated. Okay, now, there was this, Brooks Entwistle, who's with Ripple. He is at the World Economic Forum as well. I'm going to play you the last half of this. I put up it's a 9-minute video of him. He's a very smart guy. Listen to what he says.
On your network is the first place to start, that you have good actors involved with your customers, be they enterprise or consumers. And that,
by the way, he's sitting beside a PayPal executive.
So we do think that there are technologies in countries that have gone to universal IDs that is a great place to start from to deliver some of these products on top of. But this will not go away as a topic for a long time. Privacy of information for the consumers themselves.
Yeah. Brooks.
Yeah, this is a really important point. It matters candidly as you're building companies because your employees care deeply about this issue as well, in addition to the bigger macro issue, and that's certainly been the case with us. Interestingly, if you go back, and we set this up today on a 10-year front, 10 years ago when the XRP ledger was built, it was actually purpose-built for payments. We thought that was the best use case, and it was also built with real sustainability features involved as well. So we've been very proud of that throughout as we've built out both RippleNet and
what sustainability features does it have built?
Just the ability to not have the mining function
as
it goes on later in life. And so, it doesn't take countries to power it. It takes a couple of homes worth of power, which I think is obviously the very different outcome in all this. But what do you do with that if you've already made that technology decision is you got to get involved in the discussion. And so we were one of the first crypto company to sign the Crypto Climate Accord with people like Singapore Power, the Rocky Mountain Institute in my home state of Colorado, really a leading effort just to think about to make sure and put this up front. And then also have gotten involved just last week with a big investment into the carbon credits, both markets and ecosystem. And so, again, this kind of goes back to all of us doing whatever we can where we are. And once you have something that works, to push it and lead with the dialogue, especially the technology that you have is sustainable, which we believe ours is. No.
That was an easy one.
This guy asked him, I forgot to include the guy asking the question. He was asking if you could use Ripple to send money into Russia, and he said no.
Well, because of what we've talked about earlier, we have, in building this network from a sanctioned country standpoint, we've had to be on the very clear side of that line. And so that's an important piece of that. And it's an issue, I realize, for organizations that still have people on the ground that need money to get to the right places for very good purposes. But within RippleNet, across our 55 plus countries, we simply can't do that. I'm happy to do a quick, first of all, thank you so much for what you all are doing, and we share that.
Okay, I just wanted to show you some of that. You can go watch, there's full 9 minutes. He's a very sharp guy. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that it is the XRP XLM show in Davos 2022.